We're so glad you're joining us and happy to participate, in an ongoing series that really just helps us look at all the new changes that we're going through and how we can stay healthy and well and support each other. So today I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about how do we incorporate all these new changes pretty much into our social skills and our ways of relating to one another, because a lot has changed. I'm Cindy Ryan with the Center for Work and Family Life, and Susan is here as a wonderful producer, and we welcome your calling us anytime should you need any assistance whatsoever. So these are new times. This is kind of like establishing new social norms for civility and how we relate. So this is a time when we can really begin to think about what are the parallels that we've experienced before in this way. And, decades ago, we were dealing with, the non-smoking changes that were coming into our daily life. So through research and science and education and initiatives and public awareness, we began to establish a whole new norm. It went from having environments where people were smoking cigarettes everywhere to signs where we hear and say, thank you for not smoking. So these are these progressions of change and transformation that come into our world, come into our ways of relating and living in a healthy way for our environment. So essentially where we begin is looking at where do our values come from? And USC Values in Action really do represent a lot of this. It's talking about respect. It's talking about dignity. It's being responsible for ourselves and others. And ultimately, in all the messaging that we have been hearing through COVID, is stay healthy and safe. So these are really our new ways of sort of orienting how we begin to express ourselves. Civility has some good sources that I have acquired over the years. One came from Johns Hopkins Institute, the Civility Project, that goes into kind of steps or guidelines for developing consideration of others in our work and regular life. And we also have Christine Porath and Christine Pearson, who has talked a lot of research about how civility in the workplace and our lives can be so essential. And the bottom line there is civility is more successful. So these are some sources to consider and check out and look at how we want to handle these moments where we're distancing differently, we're relating differently. I had an experience yesterday where I had to have a health screening in order to walk about the campus. And I was really noting that it was very different than what we're used to, just running in, going into a building, running upstairs. But it was a pause and it was a moment. And the way she handled taking time, offering sanitizer, reminding me how to put my mask so it was best fit, to taking the temperature. It was actually kind of a mindful moment where it really was an opportunity to show that we can take care of each other and that we can look out for one another. So I'm coming up with a new kind of idea for what a PPE might be, which is patience and positive expression. How we can extend that into the way we relate now. So we're growing and expanding that. So essentially, many times in the work environments where we may still be on site, we look at how can we be respectful, being patient, being kind. I'm noticing, as you may also notice as well, that, we're smiling behind a mask. And really oftentimes we're looking up and we're looking at smiling eyes. And so this is another whole dimension of how we stay connected and how we socially, express ourselves is through our eyes, It's really very true in our neuroscience that we have mirror neurons. And if we look at someone, with positive ideas and positive expression, we connect on that level. So knowing that we're going to be looking at different ways of making connection. When you're in the environments, we have to sort of do the same adage of thank you for not smoking. Thank you for wearing your mask. Appreciate it. Asking for, guidance and support from others if that were needed. So essentially, we're promoting this whole messaging around, let's stay healthy together. The intention is, hey, let me protect you and us together. It's very much, a shared experience there. So notice these things, realize that even if we're out and about and we're now, having a chance to get out and socialize, maybe in a meal outdoors, that we bring a sense of serenity and patience with others, noticing how clever and creative people are in decorating masks and, taking time, when we're learning to listen more carefully to one another and look really into each other's eyes for, that best positive connection. The other dimension of what I'm learning too is, how we're relating on Zoom meetings, just like we are right now. I got an example of a very thoughtful message from someone today as I'm preparing for a talk tomorrow. And she was simply asking, how do you like to have your Zoom meetings? Do you want people to be visible? Do you want to have sound available? And I'm thinking, yeah, this is what we're doing now. We're asking each other to be visible, to know how to put ourselves on the mic or when we transition. And again, it's patience and it's positive expression that goes into this. To have really, a time where we can stay fully present. Now, if you're a manager or supervisor, I would suggest and recommend, making that known, making it clear when meetings are really important for everyone to be fully present, fully attentive, to know that if sometimes meetings are too large, you may want to make smaller, more closed meetings so that you can keep those connections, very, open and fulfilling. So let's kind of look at anything we would do in a big staff meeting. Look at how we manage our phones or how much we might be distracted with an email. So noting when something is really important for full attention and full presence. I think we're all, in a way, sort of enjoying these happy mishaps and interruptions with children and pets or, an environment that goes around, because we do get an opportunity to get a glimpse into a wider perspective of who we are as people, as employees in our homes. So it's, again, a time to be, respectful of that, appreciate those surroundings, and note that, we're all really doing our best to keep connected together. So having patience for all. I always try to say, express appreciation for joining in on a meeting or joining in on a Zoom to share, your thoughts. Sometimes I think it's knowing yourself, knowing what's the best conditions for you to share and communicate, the lovely advantage of having chat and being able to ask questions in another dimension of the meeting is really actually very useful and can be another way of sort of unifying us as we relate in those settings. So, we're taking this time, and we have had to more rapidly go into kind of a new shift in how we navigate our social relations, being respectful when we're somewhere, we're maintaining a distance, and just being thoughtful and considerate can be a way of really easing and enhancing our lives together and feeling as though we're all contributing to a healthy and safe environment. You know, this is a time when I always, mention our self-care as an essential piece. I was listening to a news show this morning that was saying, yes, don't forget to get outside and get your sunshine. We'll have plenty of opportunity this weekend as it will be quite warm, but to know that that is really essential for, our health and our rest and our relaxation. um, and really, continue to credit yourself and, applaud yourself for getting through, all that you are. I think there's a point in time here where we've been through this for a number of months and we're sort of going, okay, how are we going to maintain and sustain our resilience? Well, you are, and these are just ideas and ways in which to support one another. And we hope you take the best care of your health and your well-being, your family, everyone around you, even just giving notice to a neighbor or reaching out to a coworker or colleague that you haven't spoken to in a while, checking in and just saying, how are you doing? What's it like for you? I think that adds some spirit of connection with others while we're apart. So I want to share with you if Susan has any one coming through on chat or questions or anything that we can help out with today.
I don't see anything at the moment.
All right.
That was excellent.
Well,